Hey there, design lovers! Welcome back to the Daily House, where we transform everyday spaces into extraordinary homes. I'm absolutely thrilled you're joining me today for something truly special. A complete farmhouse fall transformation inspired by the incredible Liz Marie's signature style. We're diving deep into that coveted vintage farmhouse aesthetic that makes every corner feel like home. From weathered wood benches to gorgeous pumpkin garlands, we'll explore how to bring authentic farmhouse charm to every single room in your home. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you're as excited as I am about full decorating. Drop a comment below sharing your favorite farmhouse element. I read every single one. Let's start where first impressions matter most, your farmhouse facade. The key to nailing Liz Marie's aesthetic lies in weathered materials and natural textures. Consider adding a reclaimed wood shutters in sage green or cream, paired with a classic board and batten siding. Vintage-inspired lanterns flanking your front door create the welcoming glow we all crave. Don't forget about seasonal elements. A rustic wooden crate filled with mini pumpkins, some dried corn stalks, and perhaps a vintage galvanized bucket overflowing with full mums. These authentic touches immediately signal to guests that they're entering a space where comfort and style beautifully coexist in perfect farmhouse harmony. Now we're stepping into the heart of today's inspiration, that gorgeous entryway. The weatherwood bench isn't just seating, it's your anchor piece that sets the entire farmhouse mood. Position it strategically where it can serve multiple purposes: a place to sit while putting on boots, storage underneath for seasonal items, and a display surface for your full styling. The beauty of weathered lies in its imperfections. Those natural scratches and worn edges tell a story of lived-in comfort, paired with a vintage-style runner in muted tones, perhaps featuring subtle plaids or botanical motifs that complement, rather than compete with your stunning bench centerpiece. Your fall wreath is like jewelry for your front door. It should make a statement while remaining effortlessly elegant. Following Liz Marie's approach, think beyond traditional orange pumpkins. Consider a mixed media wreath featuring eucalyptus, cotton stems, mini white pumpkins, and perhaps some dried hydrangeas in muted sage tones. The key is layering textures while maintaining a cohesive color palette. Hang it at eye level using a beautiful ribbon in burlap or cream linen. This creates that perfect farmhouse sophistication. Natural, seasonal, but never overdone. Remember, your wreath should complement your overall entryway design, not overwhelm it with competing elements. Pumpkin garlands are pure farmhouse magic when styled correctly. Think of them as your connecting element that ties different areas together seamlessly. Choose varying sizes of mini pumpkins in whites, creams, and muted oranges, avoiding the bright, artificial-looking varieties. String them on jute twine or natural rope, spacing them irregularly for that organic, hand-gathered feel. Drape this garland along your bench, front door frames, or even cascading down your staircase banister. The secret is making it look effortless, as if you just happened to string together pumpkins from your own harvest. This creates the authentic, lived-in farmhouse atmosphere that Liz Marie does so beautifully. Farmhouse design excels when form meets function beautifully. Install vintage-inspired hooks made from wrought iron or weathered wood for coats and hats. A repurposed chicken feeder makes a charming key holder, while a vintage wooden crate mounted on the wall provides perfect storage for gloves and scarves. Consider a tall, narrow cabinet in distressed white or sage green for shoes, keeping them hidden but accessible. These organizational elements should feel like curated antique finds rather than modern storage solutions. The goal is creating an entryway that handles your family's daily needs while maintaining that sophisticated farmhouse aesthetic throughout every practical detail. The right mirror transforms your entryway from functional to fabulous. Choose a round mirror with a weathered wood frame or perhaps a vintage-inspired rectangular piece with distressed details. Position it above your bench to create a natural vignette and help the space feel larger. For lighting, consider a vintage-style pendant or rustic chandelier. Nothing too modern or sleek. The warm glow should feel inviting, like candlelight. Add some ambient lighting with battery-operated candles in mason jars or vintage lanterns. This layered lighting approach creates depth and warmth, making your entryway feel like a welcoming embrace rather than just a pass-through space to other rooms. Your entryway mat is more than floor protection. It's the foundation of your design story. Choose natural materials like jute, sizzle, or cotton in neutral tones. Avoid anything too bright or modern-looking. A simple stripe pattern, subtle botanical motif, or even a plain mat in cream or sage green works beautifully. The key is choosing something that feels organic and hand-woven rather than mass-produced. Layer different textures if space allows. Perhaps a larger jute mat underneath with a smaller, patterned cotton runner on top. This creates visual interest while maintaining that relaxed, collected over time feeling that defines authentic farmhouse styles so perfectly. Your living room should feel like a natural extension of your entryway's farmhouse charm. Choose a neutral color palette as your foundation. Think creams, warm whites, and soft grays. Then layer in full elements through textiles and accessories. A linen sofa and oatmeal paired with plaid throw pillows creates instant farmhouse appeal. Add a vintage-style coffee table in reclaimed wood, topped with a galvanized tray holding mini pumpkins and eucalyptus stems. The key is making everything feel collected rather than purchased all at once. Mix textures like chunky knit throws, burlap pillows, and perhaps a vintage quilt drape over your sofa back for that perfect lived-in farmhouse sophistication. Your farmhouse dining room should celebrate the harvest season with understated elegance. Start with a reclaimed wood table. The more character marks, the better. Layer a burlap table runner down the center, then create height variation with vintage candlesticks in varying heights. Fill a long wooden dough bowl with mini pumpkins, pinnacones, and eucalyptus for your centerpiece. Mix vintage plates with modern pieces for that collected over time look. Mason jar water glasses and linen napkins in sage green or cream complete the setting. The goal is creating a table that feels special enough for guests but comfortable enough for everyday family meals. That perfect balance of farmhouse practicality and seasonal beauty. The farmhouse kitchen is where practicality meets personality beautifully. Style your open shelving with vintage crocks, mason jars filled with dried beans or pasta, and perhaps some copper pots for warmth. Swap out your usual kitchen towels for linen ones in full colors. Add a small pumpkin display on your countertop near your coffee station. Just a few mini white pumpkins clustered around your machine creates instant seasonal charm. Consider hanging a small fall garland along your upper cabinets or around your kitchen window. The key is adding just enough seasonal elements to feel festive without cluttering your workspace or interfering with your daily cooking routines and meal preparation. Farmhouse cabinets should feel like furniture pieces rather than built-ins. If you're working with existing cabinets, consider removing some upper doors to create open shelving for displaying vintage dishes and seasonal decor. Style these shelves with white ironstone, vintage cutting boards, and mason jars. Add some full elements like mini pumpkins nestled between dishes or small eucalyptus stems in vintage milk bottles. For clothes storage, consider replacing modern hardware with vintage-inspired knobs and pulls in oil-rubbed bronze or weathered brass. The goal is making your kitchen feel like it evolved over time rather than being installed all at once. that authentic, collected farmhouse character. Modern appliances can absolutely work in a farmhouse kitchen when styled thoughtfully. Choose appliances in classic colors like cream, sage green, or traditional white rather than stainless steel when possible. Style around your refrigerator with vintage-inspired canisters and perhaps a small chalkboard for grocery lists. Create a coffee station around your machine using a vintage wooden tray, mason jar sugar container, and perhaps a small full arrangement. Even your stove can be styled with vintage-inspired accessories like copper pots and wooden utensils displayed in a ceramic crock. The secret is surrounding modern conveniences with enough vintage elements that they feel integrated rather than intrusive to your overall farmhouse aesthetic. Your farmhouse family room should be the ultimate relaxation destination. Arrange seating to encourage conversation while accommodating TV viewing. Choose a large sectional in neutral linen or cotton, then layer with texture through pillows and throws. Style your media console with vintage books, small plants in galvanized pots, and perhaps a vintage wooden box for remote storage. Frame your TV with built-in shelving styled with vintage finds and seasonal decor. Add warmth with table lamps featuring burlap or linen shades rather than overhead lighting. The goal is creating a space that feels like a cozy retreat where your family naturally gathers, comfortable, welcoming, and perfectly styled for both everyday relaxation and entertaining. Your farmhouse home office should inspire creativity while handling business efficiently. Choose a vintage-inspired desk, perhaps a reclaimed wood piece with metal hairpin legs or a restored antique writing desk. Style it with vintage accessories like a small analog clock, antique desk lamp, and perhaps a small radio for ambience. Use vintage crocks or mason jars for pen storage, and choose a comfortable chair in natural linen or leather. Add personality with vintage books, a small plant in a galvanized pot, and perhaps a vintage-style bulletin board. The key is creating a workspace that feels inspiring and personal rather than corporate. Somewhere you actually want to spend time being productive and creative. Every farmhouse needs a dedicated reading nook. That special corner where you can escape with a good book. Choose a comfortable chair in natural linen or soft leather, paired with a vintage-inspired side table for your coffee and books. Add a floor lamp with a linen shade for proper reading light. Style the space with a cozy throw blanket, perhaps in a subtle plaid or solid cream color. A small basket nearby holds extra books and magazines. Consider adding a small bookshelf or floating shelf styled with your favorite reads and small seasonal decor. This space should feel like your personal retreat. Quiet, comfortable, and perfectly styled for those precious moments of solitude and reflection. Your farmhouse bedroom should be a serene retreat from daily stress. Choose a bed frame in weathered wood or wrought iron, dressed with white or cream linens for that classic farmhouse look. Layer different textures through pillows and throws, perhaps a vintage quilt, linen shems, and a chunky knit throw. Add bedside tables in reclaimed wood or vintage finds, styled with simple table lamps and perhaps a small plant or vintage book. Consider a vintage-inspired bench at the foot of your bed for extra seating and style. The color palette should remain neutral and calming, with full elements added through subtle touches like a small pumpkin on your dresser or eucalyptus in a vintage bottle. Your farmhouse bathroom should feel like a personal spa retreat. Choose fixtures in classic white or cream with vintage-inspired details. Style your vanity with apothecary jars for cotton balls and bath salts, perhaps adding a small vintage mirror and some eucalyptus in a mason jar for shower organization. Consider vintage-inspired caddies or baskets that complement your overall aesthetic. Add warmth with natural textures like jute rugs and linen towels. A vintage ladder makes perfect towel storage while adding vertical interest. The goal is creating a bathroom that feels like a relaxing retreat rather than just a functional space, somewhere you enjoy your daily routine surrounded by beautiful, vintage-inspired elements and natural textures. Don't overlook your garage in your farmhouse transformation. This space can be both highly functional and beautifully styled. Install open shelving using reclaimed wood and metal brackets for storing seasonal decor and household items. Use vintage-inspired storage solutions like galvanized buckets, wooden crates, and mason jars for organization. Create a potting station using a vintage workbench or table where you can prepare seasonal arrangements. Add character with vintage signs, old license plates, or antique tools as well decor. The key is making your garage feel like an extension of your home style rather than just storage space, organized, functional, but with that same attention to farmhouse character and charm. Your farmhouse patio should feel like an outdoor living room that seamlessly extends your interior style. Choose furniture in natural materials like teak or weathered aluminum with comfortable cushions and outdoor appropriate fabrics. Create a seating area around a vintage-inspired coffee table or ottoman. Add warmth with outdoor string lights and perhaps some battery-operated lanterns for ambience. Style with outdoor-safe accessories like galvanized planters filled with full mums vintage watering cans as decor, and perhaps some pumpkins and gourds ranged on your table. The goal is creating an outdoor space that feels as thoughtfully designed and welcoming as your interior. Or rooms, perfect for enjoying crisp fall evenings surrounded by beautiful, farmhouse-inspired elements. What an incredible journey we've taken together through every corner of farmhouse fall styling. From that stunning weathered wood bench in your entryway to the cozy reading nook and spa-like bathroom, we've explored how Liz Marie's vintage farmhouse aesthetic can transform your entire home into a seasonal sanctuary. Remember, authentic farmhouse style ain't about perfection. It's about creating spaces that feel collected over time, comfortable for daily living, and welcoming to everyone who enters. The key is layering natural textures, choosing pieces with character and story, and never being afraid to mix vintage finds with modern necessities. I hope you're feeling inspired to try some of these ideas in your own home. Which room are you most excited to tackle first? Drop a comment below. I love hearing about your decorating adventures. Don't forget to subscribe to the Daily House for more design inspiration. Give this video a thumbs up if it sparked some ideas. And I'll see you in the next episode where we'll explore even more ways to make your house feel like home.